Okay, I made some modifications to some notes. I'm going to go up to the course main page, and you can see there under where is it? I have it under Lab 1. That's where I put it. And under Instructions, I have linked to Lab 1 on Linux from a remote, CSE 201 Subversion Command Line Notes. And in here I have some notes that you may be interested in looking at. And please remember to add this dot when you execute this checkout command for the first time. Alright, let's get back to what we're doing. So we wrote this program. Let's see if we can run that. We go back to the terminal window, and we checked out the repository. And I think we actually ran the program already, so we know that that works. Let's go ahead and add. I'll do Svn Add. I'm going to add the folder p11 to the repository, and it schedules p11 to be added. You can see it in the following. The A represents add. Also, the Subversion client Svn descended into the folder and assumed that we wanted to add the file that was in there, which is called main.cpp. So doing this doesn't actually copy those files into the remote repository. It simply schedules them to be copied. To actually have those files copied, we need to execute the command Svn Commit. And when you do this, I recommend that you use -m, and then it takes a comment, and we'll put in a comment. I'll say lab 1. And there it goes. Alright. So if I do ls-a, you'll see there's a control folder there. And I can do the same thing. I'm going to cd into p11 here. I can do the same, run the same command in the subfolder. You'll see that each folder that's in the that is stored in the repository has this .svn folder within it, which contains information that the Subversion client uses to synchronize the working copy with the repository. You should never modify this directly, although there are occasions when it's useful to delete it. Okay, so let's. We're actually not finished with the exercise. We need to finish. This should be something like hello. I don't have the exact exercise here. Let me get my book. And something like hello, my name is Fred, or something like that. Let me just find that. Hello, my name is Hal. That's the computer in 2001, A Space Odyssey. And hello, my name is Hal. That's a full sentence. Let's put a period there. And then, what would you like me to do? So I'm going to copy that line. What would you like me to do? And then we're going to read in something. So they recommend, they actually have the they have the code to enter in on this one. String inputs, we're declaring a string variable called user input, and then we use cin, and we read in user input. Oops, that's not correct. It goes in this direction. User input, and then we write print a response, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. There it is. Let's save that. Okay, let's test this again. C++ main.cpp. It builds. Let's see if we can run it. Hello, my name is Hal. What would you like me to do? Nothing. I'm sorry, I cannot do that. Okay, so that looks good. Notice that we have a.out in the generated here. And I would like it if you do not commit these executable files into the repository. I don't need them there. It just takes up space. So the way we do that, and it seems a little complicated, it's easier when you're using a GUI-based Subversion client. Here's a command to ignore files that start with that have the name a.out, and this is done on a per directory basis. So just copy that and paste that in there. Just to run that. And it says a.out is not under version control. That's good. That's what we want. Now, you can always check to see what you have in the repository by browsing to your repository. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to copy this URL and paste it into my browser. And I need to use my name on this, David Turner _Linux. And it's password protected. Username is Turner. Oh, I think I called it David Turner. David Turner, and although Turner works as well for me. Let me log in. There it is, P11, and you can see there's the file. And notice that this is the older version of the file. So what we need to do, actually, we've made local changes, and we need to commit those changes. So the command for that is Svn Commit -m, and I'm not going to leave a message. I'll just put in a blank there. And there it is. It's sending p11 main.cpp. If I go back to the browser, I refresh, and there it is. Now this is how I'm going to check your work. I will check out your programs and run them and look at them, and sometimes comment on how you solve your problems. So that's how I will be grading your lab exercises. So it's important for you to check to make sure that all the work that you've done on the lab is committed into your repository. Alright, let's continue and do the second exercise. So I'm going to save this as, and it's the same file name, main.cpp, but I want to save it in P12. Let's go ahead and do that. And I need to read the exercise, and okay, so it's very similar. Hello, my name is Hal. What is your name? What is your name? Then we ask the user to type it in. Once we get the name, we want to print it out. So we should say, hello, your name. I am glad to meet you. So it would be hello, comma, and then we'll put the username in there. And I'm glad to meet you. Hello, dot. I am glad to meet you. It doesn't fit very well in here. I am glad to meet you. Alright, to make it a little easier to look at it, because it's a long, complex command. I'm going to break it. This actually works, but what I'm going to do is break it out onto separate lines. I think that's easier to understand. So that's C out there, and that's a variable. C out, and finally there's a new line there. I'll put that on its own line as well. So that's C out like that. Alright, let's see if that works. I'm going to save that. And let's go up a level. And there's the program. Let's compile it. And there's an error. Username was not declared in this scope. So there's an error there. This should be user input. And is that what they have there? Well, they call it username. I see. So this would be I am in the wrong window. This should be username. What is your name? This is username. Let's go ahead and change that. Save it. So anyway, it shows you at least how to recover from errors. As you can see, I tried to run the compiler. I ran the compiler here. Then it's reporting errors. It gives me a line number right there, line 12. How can we see line 12? That would be right there, I would guess. Let's see, if I just highlight that, I don't see it. Once again, I'm in the wrong window. So I don't see line numbers here. Maybe you can turn those on. In VI I can see that. But I'm not going to look into that right now. So, but that is probably line 12. Alright. We fixed it. Once again. We changed, here we had user input. We needed username. That's what we used down here. I believe I saved it. Yep, it's grayed out. Let's go ahead and build it. We're going to try this again. It builds. And ls. There's a.out. Let's run it. /a.out. Hello, my name is Hal. What is your name? My name is Dave. Hello, Dave. I am glad to meet you. Okay, that's great. Now, what we'll do here is we want to commit this work into the repository. This is the end of the lab. If you get this far, the last thing you want to do, well, not absolutely the last. I want you to go log into Blackboard and submit a lab report through Blackboard. That is the last thing that you do for the lab, but we still need to get the this project P12 into the repository, and I'll show you up here that if I navigate up to the root folder, which is here, and restore that, I can see I still only have P11 in there. So let's get P12 in there as well. So I'm going to try to make some mistakes. The first thing I'm going to do Svn Add main.cpp. Oh, look at this. What's going on? Dot is not a working copy. That means the folder is not in the repository. So we need to add the folder to the repository first. Svn Add dot, and remember dot represents the current directory. So enter that in. Svn is not a working copy, so that must be a problem. I'm going to cd ... up to the parent. So now I'm in SCE 201, and let's go ahead and add it now. So Svn Add P12. There we go. Notice this. So 3 objects have been scheduled to be added. There is P12, the folder itself. There's the executable a.out within it, which I don't want in the repository. It's not a fatal error to put it in there, but I would prefer that that's not stored in there. And then there's main.cpp. So what I'll do there is I'm going to cd back into the folder, although you can do it from the current location, and I want to remove a.out from the list of objects to commit. So I'm going to use the following command: svn remove a.out. A.out has local modifications. Okay, use --force to override. So let's do here. After remove --force. There we go. The D is for delete. I wonder if it actually deleted. It actually deletes it. So remove deletes it. Alright, so then we'll use Svn Commit. I use -m, and this is lab2. Oh, it's lab1. I'll just say lab1 p1_2. There it is, committed. Let's go to the web, and I'll hit refresh. There's the new folder. There's the file within it. There it is. Username, hello, I'm glad to meet you, and so on. Alright, so at this point, you're almost done. The last thing you need to do for the lab is to go into Blackboard, and there's a link for it right here, and log into Blackboard and submit the lab report, and then you're finished.